Bro, I've seen awesome reviews of the Bulldog pad by Sorinex, but $300, that's crazy expensive. Construction seemed simple enough, so I decided to build my own. It wasn't too bad, I'll show you how I did it. This relatively small piece of equipment can add tons of variety to your home gym workouts. I start off by cutting my 2x6, 24 inches long with a 45-degree angle on one end. You'll need 2 of these. To make sure I've got the right spacing, I hold the board to the rack and mark the holes with a pen. You can see from my pen marks that it took a few tries to get it right. I clamp both 2x6 pieces together and then clamp them to my drill press. I use a 1-inch Forstner bit to drill the holes. The shank is not quite long enough to go all the way through both, but it does go halfway through the bottom board. Then I unclamp, adjust the drill press, and drill the rest of the way through the bottom board. By clamping the pieces together beforehand, I know the holes will line up exactly. Next, I cut my 2x4 and 2x6 pieces. I put everything together, drilled all the holes, and then took everything apart to take this picture. With all the holes pre-drilled, it goes together pretty fast. I secure everything with lots of screws, and then I add 5 7-inch bolts. On the bolts that are closest to where it attaches to the rack, I add washers to act as spacers between the 2x6s. This will give it a little extra room and make it easier to put on and take off the rack. I realized there needs to be another bolt in the front going through the 2x4s. This is a quick fix. I go over all of them with a wrench and ratchet to make sure they're all super snug. Then I add some more screws. It's probably overkill, but I want to make sure this thing is super secure. I paint it black to match my power rack. I also paint the lag screws and the L brackets that will be attached to the pad. They'll be slightly visible. The pad is 9 inches by 12 inches. I just used some 1x10 scraps that I have left over from another project. You could also use plywood or OSB for this. Just make sure it's thick enough to hold your body weight. 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch minimum. I cut the fabric so there's an extra 3 inches on each side to fold over. My fabric piece measures 15 inches by 18 inches. The spray adhesive dries quick and helps to keep the pad in place. I'm definitely not a pro at doing upholstery. This is my second project where I've done my own pad. It definitely gets easier with experience. There are lots of tutorials on how to do this properly. For my purposes, it doesn't have to be perfect. On the top side, the finished product looks great. I use L brackets and 1-inch lag screws to attach the pad. I use hitch pins to lock this in place. For the simplified version, I use a foam puzzle mat and cut it to size. 4 screws and some finishing washers attach the foam pad to the board. The simplified version has 2 holes and only 1 position, but it works just fine.